Hey guys, it's Maria Park. Welcome to Approach the Nerd and our charmed after show. I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I had to calm my angry grandma down. I got a candle. Like I had to get some eucalyptus and I got to get some lavender. I got my water of truth. I'm in my feelings, guys. I was watching this episode and all I saw was my angry grandma taking them damn earrings off. I'm like, wow, we doing this. So first, I'm going to say something. I don't normally look at the comments first, so I need to look at the comments really quickly before we start this review. When they were talking to the Guardian, and the Guardian said there's another one on our Xfinity, our DVR literally cut off. Please tell me what in the hell the Guardian said there was another one of. Was it sister? Was it French fries? Was it a damn trip? What was the other or another thing that the Guardian said? Did she say there is another sister, or did she say there was another one? So please, in the comments right now, somebody tell me what the Guardian said. Another sister. Okay, guys. This is not for drama. This is not for subs. This is to calm myself so I can do this review. I try to be objective. I know I'm hard on CW writers. I know I nitpick, but guys, this is some bullshit. I'm sorry. This was some B to the S. And I am in my feelings. So guys, if you love this episode, you may want to get out of this chat, get out of this live stream, because this literally... All right. So let's just do our recap first, and then we will jump to it. So basically, Macy goes to the Cave of Ancients because, Alondria, our favorite perfecti, said, oh, look at this bioluminescent lichen, a toxic fungus, that if they take it, the Whispering Evil literally will not be able to infect people. And Macy's like, easy peasy. I'm just going to go get it. As soon as they started showing that shit, and then Harry's like, I'm going to go with you. I was like, oh, so shit, they're going to kill her off. They're going to kill her off. They're going to effing kill her off. So she goes and she gets the yellow toxic goo off the wall and she's laughing, ha 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 ha, and she puts it in this little test tube sample, whatever. And then the Whispering Evil comes to the Cave of Ancients and infects Macy. And then we see a flash to the future that we saw in the previous episode, or a couple of episodes before, where Macy was infected because I guess she was considered patient zero. And so Macy's like, oh, well, I'm going to take this toxin, this toxic fungus, to prevent Whispering Evil from getting out. Therefore, everybody's saved. The world is saved. Everybody's saved. So she takes the toxin and it does destroy the Whispering Evil inside of her body. Now, I know I need to recap. Let's nitpick this, folks. If the toxin is the most toxin thing in the planet, and nobody expected Macy to eat it, Maggie's quote, why in the hell would anybody, whether magical or human, be able to take this toxin and live? Because from what I'm hearing is, even if Macy was to create or synthesize an antidote, it's still going to kill the effing host. So basically, you are sentencing someone to effing die. Great writing. So, all right. So Macy takes it. It blows up the Whispering Evil inside of her. She throws the magic marble to go back to the command center. She's so weak, she barely makes it. She crawled through the damn portal. Then we see Harry come back with these ingredients saying, Macy, I got these ingredients you wanted, which I'm trying to think, why would you be bringing her ingredients when you know she's off going to the Cave of Ancients to basically get this damn fungus to save everybody from the Whispering Evil? But I digress. It's great. And so he sees Macy laying on the ground unconscious. And this was me. Here we go. And I'm literally holding grandma by I got a chain. And I'm pulling the chains. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Because I was coming for them in the night. That's how messed up this shit was. So, okay. So Macy is literally in a coma. So because the writing is wonderful. It gets worse. So they have to cast a spell. It's a lifeline spell that Josefina put in the Book of Shadows. And the Book of Shadows says, but if you use this spell, which by the way, Mel had to translate because again, nobody else but Mel knows Spanish in this family. So they basically take the lifeline spell, and that means you have to stay with Macy. You have to be by her side the entire time. Well, what they didn't realize is that by casting this spell, then you're basically in Macy's dream world. It's literally her bucket list dream world. It's all the stuff that Macy wanted to do while she was alive. Because again, this is a clue also to us that Macy is dying. So we go to a carousel where Macy talks about, I used to go here with my dad, and I used to look at all these little families. I always wanted a sister. And I'm like, oh, well, now you have two. And I'm like, oh, hell. And then next thing you know, they're jumping out of an airplane. When somebody's in their mind and they're jumping out of a damn plane, they're not coming back. I'm just letting you know that right now, because that's literally, you're either an adrenaline junkie or you're dying and you're wishing that you were jumping out of that damn plane. So they jumped out of the plane, which luckily it's not real because even Mel says, I'm 8 months pregnant. This is effed up. Disclaimer. They didn't do this in the show. If you are pregnant, don't jump out of plane, but maybe they won't let you do it. But I just put that disclaimer out there for you anyway, to be socially conscious. Anyway, so they jump out of the damn plane. Then they go over to this picnic. They're all outside. They're sitting in the middle of a damn field, looking up at the sky, having, you got a naked drink for Mel. You got a vegan hummus sandwich for Maggie, and Macy sitting there. And she's like, it feels good to always just have a day of doing nothing. We really should have done that. And I'm like, you know what? You are absolutely right, Macy. Maybe the writers should have had you have sister moments from the damn beginning. But you know what? That's fine. All right. So every time Macy goes to sleep, dark clouds fly and flow all over her, the place. And that means she's dying. So they keep waking her up because they're like, we really don't want you to die. So, please stay awake. So now they have to stay by her side at all times, and they have to keep her awake in this dream world. The next thing we see is them on a road trip, and they are singing, and it's great. They have great singing. I didn't know Mel could sing. Honestly, she probably still can't. I think the other two drowned her out. But, it's a beautiful moment. They're jamming to Motown hits. I love Motown. I'm a Marvin Gaye fan. I'm cool. I was cool with this whole scenario. And then they almost hit a woman. And then they realize it's the same woman that was literally on the plane when they were jumping out. And it turns out to be the damn guardian. And I'm like, she's dying. And then they go to a scene that's beautiful. They have this beautiful scene where Macy is getting married to Harry. She has on this beautiful dress. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Don't let the straight flat iron hair fool you. I am a curly girl. So I was also in my rage that they effed her hair up, because that's not how you do an updo for curly hair. It's not. As a curly girl, I can say this. They could have done a lot better with Macy's married hair. So she didn't even get the really cool updo that she was deserved. This is her last damn episode, technically, and you can't even fix her hair right. So you know what? In my feelings. So I'm like, whatever. So nitpick number 2. You thought the hair was it. It's not. Let's go to the plot here. So they need something old, something borrowed, something new, and something blue. The dress is new. Apparently, for some reason, Maggie just happens to be wearing some earrings that she had since a child, which is something, borrowed or something old. And then she borrowed them from Mel and never gave them back. So that's something borrowed. But then they did something that was very effing weird to me. The something blue was the ring that all of them gave each other, or they got, when they got their powers back. Now, remember, these rings were red. As a matter of fact, in this effing episode, in a effing flashback, they even showed the scene with their red rings. So unless they turned red, and maybe I'm crazy and they started off blue, which I will recant and apologize for, what the hell? And then on top of that, why did Mel say, you kept that ring? Why wouldn't she keep the ring? You guys said that this ring. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I was like, what was she supposed to do with the ring? You basically said, end quote, these rings we give each other as a symbol of our bond as sisters, as a symbol of us getting our powers back. What? So you got the ring and then, she was supposed to toss it away? Did Macy and Maggie dump these rings? I mean, did Mel and Maggie get rid of these rings and Macy was the only one that kept this ring? What was this line? Why was this line said? What the hell? I don't know. But yeah, like I said, so that bothered me and the color of the ring bothered me. I don't know if it could be they all had different colored rings. I don't remember the scene. I really don't. When I look at the comments again, guys, if you remember if these rings were different colors, let me know because I had to turn the box off because I don't want to be distracted in my my recap. So, all right. Then we see a scene where Macy is in her room and you hear a baby and you hear basically Harry's in there rocking the baby and they're on the baby monitor. So we got to see her have a baby, be a mother. And she's like, I'm exhausted. Can I go to sleep? And then Maggie's like, no, we just got here. And I'm like, technically that's selfish, but whatever. Then they see the guardian outside and then Macy goes and talks to the guardian, even though, Maggie and Mel are like, this is bullshit. And even Maggie was like, I think she's coming to take Macy. Cause remember the destruction of the sisterhood. So next thing you know, they are basically they're out of the dream world. They're back in the real world. So long story short, she's dying because what happened is when she used the toxin that one of the perfecti told her to do, because they're so trustworthy. And they left out the part where it would kill the person because they don't have to tell you that because they don't care. They don't think. She blew up the whispering evil inside her body, but it also destroyed things in her on a cellular level. So she is literally dying. They cannot heal her. There's nothing they can do. Which brings us to the second part, our side story here. We got Harry, who's convinced if he gets his powers back, that he can heal Macy. And Jordan goes with him. And when he was going to find Celeste and Jordan looked out the door and decided to go with Harry, I was like, hell. No, this is not going to go well for you either. I wanted to tell Jordan to stop following these people because it never works out for him. And sure enough, he goes there and Celeste is like, no, you have to die. And you have to die by a mortal's hand. And they both look at Jordan. And Jordan's like, really? Like, I have to kill you? So that's basically what happens. Celeste takes them back. Or they both go back to the command center. And she brews this extremely magical neurotoxin called the stillness that basically kills the person on impact by placing a drop of it on their forehead. It has a 10% success rate, and it's such a risk that Jordan even brings a defibrillator because he's worried that if it doesn't go right, he wants to be able to bring him back because he's a medic. He doesn't normally kill people. He helps heal them and save their lives. So it's already out of character for Jordan. And it's kind of effed up to have him in that situation to begin with. But anyway, so that she puts the infinity symbol on. She does the incantation to bring him back. She does make a comment saying, it was something along the lines of this mortal has no debts or something like that. Yeah, something like that. It was like this mortal no longer has debts in this world and basically, can become a white lighter, which is not true because let me point it out again, guys. James Westwell had a whole ass other family that we've never seen again. If that's not a debt, I don't know what is. But you know what? We forget these things in Charmed. So according to Charm logic right now, Harry is clean as a whistle. So he can die and be fine. So it doesn't bring him back automatically. And this is what I'm looking at Jordan. I'm like, hell. So he goes and gets a defibrillator. And of course, the jewels are not high enough for somebody who is a white lighter or somebody who's not really human. So, of course, Celeste gives it a magical boost. Now, anytime you watch something like ER, Grey's Anatomy, House, any freaking medical show, I don't care if you're watching effing Baywatch, they tell you to clear for a reason because electricity is effing strong enough to kill a mortal. Jordan is a mortal. This woman boosted up this defibrillator while it was in Jordan's hands, and it was electrocuting his ass while he was trying to bring Harry back. And it blasted him out of the Salt secret circle, and he hit the ground. So essentially, and I'm only pointing this out because we see in the end of this episode, he heals the cut that Maggie gets with white light. So does that mean that Jordan died? because Celeste said the incantation twice. So Jordan, if he is a white lighter and you have to die to be a white lighter, Celeste effing killed him. Just throwing that out there. So anyway, they're able to bring Harry back. He rushes to heal Macy. She lets him know that it doesn't work because when he tries, it doesn't work. It woke her up, but she's still ice cold because she's dying. And there's no way to save her. And she has accepted this. She's 100% accepted this, which is interesting because Macy's always been the one who wanted to live life and who, had to get used to having sisters and was used to being a scientist and doing everything. And it's so interesting to me how they had Macy accept it so gracefully. I'm not hating on it because, again, I like Macy as a character. I've had problems with how they've written her throughout the seasons, but I like her as a character. So like the fact that she was just so resigned to dying was like, am I watching Macy or am I watching Madeleine leave the show? It's just really weird because that's how the writing was. An homage to OG Charmed. Mel actually pulled a Piper because Piper, when Prue died, was sitting up in the attic trying all these different incantations, all these things to save her sister, lighting all these candles, and Mel went right into the save sister mode too. So that was definitely, it's almost like they took that completely out of OG Charm, that whole scene where Piper was desperate to revive Prue. So, whatever, it is what it is. I'm glad that it's Mel that was having a difficult time accepting her because they were the two that were not as close. It was always Mel and Maggie and Macy and Maggie. And then kind of this, it's like an uneasy sisterhood between Macy and Mel. So it's a thing. But yeah, so she talks to her sisters and they realize that, and Maggie, says it first, even if we were to redo this, the spell, the lifeline, it's basically making you into it's a time thief. It's false hope. So eventually we're just going to have to do this all over again and say goodbye. So they take Macy back to the command center. They go into the tree room, which is where, Maggie cut her hand. I don't remember seeing her cut her hand, but what happened. They need to do that so we could see that right now Jordan has powers. So I will say the Guardian standing there and, them holding hands and them being able to flash back to meeting Macy and all the stuff they went through with Macy. And then her walking towards the Guardian, looking almost dead. Her whole face was real. The makeup was great. She looked like she was dying. She looked like she was at death's door. And then all of a sudden she was beautiful and had this beautiful flowing hair, which looked better than the hair from the wedding, by the way. And this beautiful white dress. And then she floated off. So now it looks like Macy is a guardian. Now, I don't know if Macy is going to be the guardian, but she's now one with the magical world. Now, in a perfect world in this, since we love Hasty, they would have actually killed Harry off at the same time. Harry would have just gone with her and they would have been together because according to the wedding vows, they're connected throughout time and the ages, throughout space. But then Macy said, "You'll love again." And I'm like, okay. And then the Guardian says, there is another. Because you know why? The destruction of the sisterhood has never been a disease, a magical villain, or an apocalyptic event. The destruction of the sisterhood has always been their mama, because they have made their mama into a magical hoe. She is the most promiscuous person I have ever seen on a show. She has so many babies out there. It's like she thought to herself, let's see, I got 3, but I don't know if one of them gonna go out. So I need to hook up with somebody else and make a 4th just in case. I wonder what excuse they're going to give for her abandoning this one. Did that one die too? I'm still wondering, and I said this in my my Madeleine Mantock video they did when we talked about her leaving. If they were to write in another sister, would this be a sister that was pre her leaving Puerto Rico, meaning she had a teenage pregnancy, which would make Mel, not the oldest again, would actually have an older sister. So it would be this older sister, Mel and Maggie, because that's the only thing I can think of to save her from being as promiscuous as they write her, of having her have a sister or having her have a daughter that her sister takes care of, which I don't think is Josefina because she is too young. She would not, I don't feel like that would work. But I feel like her leaving a child behind, like, and her sister, maybe raised this child as her own, and she never knew that Marisol was her mother, then I think that could be a thing. I think that her having a teenage pregnancy and then having this vision about her future girls and then saying, I got to take the book and leave. And, maybe the sister was like, you're too young to be a mother. I will take care of this child. That I can buy. I do not want to think about the fact that this woman just has no problem sleeping with everybody, popping out babies all over the damn place. So there's that. And the next thing that happened, or the other thing that happened in this episode that I thought was stupid and lazy writing, was Future Mel came back to get her baby. And she's like, thank you. You saved the world. I couldn't say anything. And then Mel was like, but the price was too high. She's like, yes, the price was too high. There you go. The price was too high. But I got my baby back. Deuces. Like, that's literally what happened with that. I'm like, what the hell is that? And on Future Mel's jacket, there's like a logo on the side. I don't know if this is a logo for an organization, a magical school, if it was just the brand name of this jacket. I was really trying to read it, but I couldn't zoom in enough to see what it was. So if anybody got a glimpse of what was on that jacket, the Future Mel's jacket on the side on her arm, let me know. But yeah, she said you guys have lots to look forward to. But it does look like Jordan and Maggie may be together. Hasey's gone. Abigail's gone. Ruby's there. She got her 10 seconds. Woo! So, yeah. That is my recap. How many minutes was this? 21 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, I'm opening the box now because there are a lot of comments in here. Let me get my water of truth. I just dehydrated myself. I'm holding Angry Grandma in. I tried to reel her in as much as possible. But guys, all right. Only one way for Power 3 to exist. Macy had to die. But I like how this is like a mix of the comic after season 8 of OG with Prue. Similar storyline. It's close. I will give it that. But again, it don't make a lick of damn sense in this context. Granny finished them. I was KOing these. Oh Lord. Okay, maybe I'm the only one, but I kind of like this episode. It was bittersweet for sure, but how long did they have to prepare for Madeleine's exit? Sorry for my English. Your English is fine, sweetie. I really don't feel like she just came up to them in the middle of filming and said, I'm leaving. I feel like this was a choice, a discussion that way they made in advance. So they probably had a lot of time to do this. But remember, we're dealing with the Charmed writers. Continuity is not their superpower. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to have to read the comics. They are pretty good. And I like Blue Savior. Granny's going on. Woo! You don't know. You do not know what Granny's doing inside of me right now. I'm choke holding her because I'm like, this is some bullshit. I'm sorry. I know this new book has heavy brujeria. I'm saying that wrong. You're going to have to correct my Spanish because I'm not Spanish, so I'm not Latina at all. But seeing as one sister is fluent now and they do live in America, probably not the best idea to have a book that needs a translator for future generations. Thank you. Ray, you gave me another nitpick. I was just harping on the fact that Mel was the only one talking in Spanish, but you're right. Maggie can't even read the damn book. I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. Maria Salazar is listed as part of the cast for season 4, episode 1 and 2. So maybe she is the 4th sister. Could be. I can feel your anger. Understandable. I am a person that separates reality and fantasy. So again, when I am done with this stream and I moved on to something else to watch, I'm not going to give a damn about this. But since it's so raw for me because we are all invested in the plot of this story. My issue is with the writing. It is garbage. I'm sorry. There were so many things they could have done. I am not upset that they made Macy a guardian and gave her a reason to be able to come back if she chooses. But I feel like their own incompetence allowed them to have this. And what I mean by that, by not introducing an OG charm thing where you can conjure your ancestors, meaning they could have talked to their mother. They could have talked to anybody else that died in their family. They had a magical, or witch line. They did not introduce this in this Charmed. So therefore we never have to worry about conjuring Mama and saying, Mama, what in the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So they don't have that. And that also means that Macy's actress won't have to feel pressured to come back and do scenes, because remember, in OG Charmed, they never were able to conjure Prue. She wasn't ready. She didn't accept her death. That's what Grandma said. So in this version, because they've never introduced this concept of being able to do that, they don't have to worry about it. So the only way to see their sister is to go and talk to the magical damn tree. And even Macy said, I don't know if I can come back and talk to you, but I will always be here in one capacity or another. So what they're really saying is if she decides she wants to do a cameo in an episode, they can bring her back as a guardian. That's what they're saying. Maggie literally going to be like what they say every time she needs a spell or charm or information from the book. Yep. She's like, what is that word? What does this mean? How do I say this? Every time. I haven't seen it yet, but it's already ruined, so I don't even care. Spoilers, bring them on. I'm sorry. Maria, this is some I'm telling you, I have never been more disappointed in a plot before than I am in this episode. I like Josefina, but at this point, I hope to have another sister, but it will be harsh to write a fourth sister for Marisol's character. Yeah, because they have taken Marisol and they have literally assassinated this woman's character. She is not a good woman. They straight ironed her hair. No. They took her hair and they did this twist, which would have been great if they had actually twisted the curls more. If you are a curly girl, you will get what I'm saying. If you have naturally curly hair like I do, you will understand that what they did to her hair in that wedding was nothing. They literally just wrapped her hair up. They didn't do anything to her hair. There is ways that curly hair can be beautiful and updos, and they did nothing. So she's got pretty 4C curls, and I'm telling you, I am surrounded by women with 4C curls in my personal life. I have 3A, 3B curls, and it is very easy to make them look good when you want to. And for your wedding, that is a huge, huge moment in your life, and they didn't. So you know what? That's fine. Continuity fail. Yep. Macy's was blue. Okay. Like I said, if you guys can tell me that her ring was blue, then I will retract that part of my rant the angry grandma put out into the universe. So that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with them asking her why she kept it, because I didn't realize there was an option to throw it away. That is a line that Mel says in this freaking episode. She's like, you kept that? What? So like everything you give as a present, you just toss? Seriously, did Mel and Maggie toss their rings? Was this an option for them? It's bad writing. True, Macy was and is a powerhouse witch, but that could be the problem. Prue being so powerful made Phoebe and Piper weak. After she passed, they had to get stronger and got more balance with Paige. I don't feel like Mel and Maggie are weak. I feel like they have, well, especially Maggie, has less confidence. I don't feel like Mel is weak at all. Mel's got her time. Well, I don't know if she still has her ability to stop time because the baby's gone and I don't think she stopped anything. So we don't know. I guess we'll figure that out next season. But she still has her Elsa and her Human Torch powers. So she's not weak. The CG budget just is. That's why they can't use it all the time. On a side note, I love the use of the Book of Shadows. I love that they have the Book of Shadows back. Yeah, absolutely. It's just interesting because it's all in Spanish. And I guess Josefina was like, you're my cousins. You could read this. And then she had no idea they couldn't. Or that Maggie and technically Macy, if she was there, that had no idea what it said. And I get why Macy wouldn't know Spanish. She was raised with Dexter. I do not understand why Maggie didn't pick up anything. My mother was born and raised in Scotland, and she spoke Gaelic. We lived in the States, and I still learned Gaelic, like a lot of Gaelic from her, because she would say it around me, and I would absorb it, because that's what happens. So they make me feel like Marisol only talked to Mel in Spanish and only talked to Maggie in English. That's literally what it sounded like. And considering Ray is Mel's dad, and for the most of her life, Maggie thought that Ray was her dad, not picking up any Spanish is effing weird to me. I'm sorry. It's always been weird to me. But again, in the next part of our segment, when we're going to talk about Madeleine leaving, I'm just going to make a point of why they had to do it that way. I love Macy's character. I'm so sad. Yeah, I was in my feelings about that. I will say her dying and like how they made her look. She looked, sometimes when you see people dying in scenes, they usually put like a lot of glycerin and stuff on their face, and they are really sweaty, and so they look ill. But they don't look like they're at death's door. They put gray foundation or something under her eyes. I mean, they made her whole face look like she had contracted some illness and was fighting it for years, or she had cancer that took over all of her body at once. She looked sick as hell. So I will give, like I said, the makeup on this was on point. So they deserve an award for that, because that woman looked a mess. But it had me in my feelings, because I didn't want Macy to die at all. I wanted her to leave and take Harry with her, saying they wanted to actually have a good life. And, this near-death experience taught her that life is fragile, and she wants to spend all her time with Harry, not worrying about if they're going to die, and he's human and blah, blah, blah. But because he didn't leave, he's staying on the damn show for some reason, which we don't need him if Jordan's a damn white lighter. Then, the whole Hasty thing is over. And that's interesting to me. I mean, that whole scene where she's telling him to hold her, it was heartbreaking. And she's like, "You will love again." And I'm like, oh, here we go. I mean, he knows that. He's loved lots of women in his life. He has a whole ass other family he knows nothing about. Or we know nothing about. I thought they looked green, blue, and red in the flashbacks. Yeah, it probably is. It probably was. So like I said, I will recant the blue thing. It says everybody's pointing out that hers was blue. Here we go. But I know in the scene when they were glowing, all three of them looked red. So that's why it put me in that, in that mood for a minute, because continuity is not a strong suit of this show. Yes, I like the Prue parallel. I mean, it's true. Mel was channeling her Piper. Mel didn't care about that ring. It feels that way. But okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the episode, wasn't it Mel that gave them the rings? So why the hell would she get rid of hers? Oh, Lord have mercy. I feel like Maggie is going to take her death the hardest, but neither of them seemed really sad. I think Maggie is, like, when she was with Jordan and just shutting down, I think she's in shock. And honestly, Mel seems emotional all the damn time. So, I mean, I can't go by that. She's always in her feelings. But, I mean, it's okay, because she had Ruby with her for 10 seconds. And, it's a U-Haul relationship. So everything's fast. Marisol gave up 2 children, and she's some super feminist. Yeah. I just can't. This episode is stupid. A lot of this episode was absolutely stupid. They were different colors. Thank you. Every time there is a problem or the writers get stuck, they are like, okay, how can we blame this on Marisol? They're making her look so bad at this point. She is just a scapegoat. If I was Marisol's actress, I wouldn't even want to come back. I'm like, I didn't sign a regular contract with you. I don't need to be here. I do not need to be here. This show is getting canceled next year. We'll see. Rage recap. Guys, I told you guys on my channel I'm real. I don't pretend. And I'm sorry. It was some BS. I really hope we get some backstory on Marisol. What do we need to know about Marisol? She likes to sleep around and have babies and man them. Backstory. Maggie was her full biological sister and bonded to her the quickest and was closest with her. Yeah, they both found out that Dexter was also Maggie's dad. And the way Macy said it was actually kind of effed up, honestly. But she's a scientist, so she doesn't really have a bedside manner. And that's the thing you have to understand about Macy. I feel like they barely show the appropriate emotions for just losing their sister. Piper definitely did a good job with that. Yeah, Piper was losing her shiz. She was losing. Even Phoebe looked sad. And we know in real life, one of the reasons Shannon Doherty left was because of her actress. So that's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. I think Mel is in denial and Maggie is in shock. Well, Mel was actually, so she was the one pulling the Piper. So she was like, I'm not accepting this. We're going to fix this. I got a plan. She went into fix it mode. So it's a thing. Macy become a guardian and Jordan is a white lighter. Oh, and yeah, a fourth sister. Tell me, why does it make sense to have Jordan be a white lighter, have Harry be a white lighter, and then have the new sister? And then, of course, Macy is the guardian. Why do we need 2 white lighters? So, but again, she did say the incantation twice. And then Jordan got zapped. Like he stepped over and started doing the stuff. And she juiced up the defibrillator. And then he got zapped. And he died. I'm pretty sure Jordan's heart stopped. Maybe his heart stopped, and then because Harry could have just like teleported out because he got his powers back to go save Macy. He didn't have time to worry about Jordan. And then maybe Celeste is the one who actually brought Jordan back as a white lighter. Yeah, we're gonna need some information on that, because if you can become a white lighter, like no joke, without having to die, you just wasted a lot of our time with this stillness neurotoxin crap. So whatever. There are 3 different colors. Maggie was peach pink, Macy's was originally red, and Mel's was blue. So Mel's was blue and Macy's was originally red. That's interesting, because then they just messed up the continuity, which means I have to put it back on the table that's messed up. Thank you, Nichols. I know you have a very, very eidetic memory, so I'm gonna believe you on that. Marisol needs a full episode dedicated to her. She needs a whole series dedicated to her. Honestly, the Harry becoming immortal was a pointless storyline. Yep, and a waste of screen time when we could have been getting sister bonding time. Absolutely, and I'm going to stand by this. If they knew from the beginning of the second half of them filming this damn show that, Madeleine was leaving, which I think that she would have had to have told them early on, because, contract-wise, they have to have time to figure it out. I don't feel like they were filming and then 3 episodes out, they were like, I think Madeleine's leaving the show. We need to revamp everything. I don't think that's how that went down. I think during COVID, she sat at home in England and was like, I'm out. And we'll discuss the reasonings, because again, Twitter's been blowing up with that crap. Jordan can be a Cupid. Well, if Jordan is a Cupid, they need to do a different color light that comes out of his hand, because right now it's white. I hope we're going to have a grief arc next season for at least 5 to 6 episodes, not like in the OG. Yeah. But for real, I was literally they could have had it all: a wedding, children, road trips, picnics, and more adventures. Yeah, they could have had sisterly bonding. Like that moment that they were all singing in the car was the closest I've seen them as sisters the whole time they've been together in the series. That is so sad. That is epically sad. It's just sad. Jordan probably half white lighter. Can't. Maybe Marisol with her wacky vision saw that new daughter would be in danger and let them stay with a relative, hopefully that, and not an adoption thing that would suck with how much money she had. So my problem with that is, why are you placing, favorites and favoritism on your children? So this new daughter would be in danger. So we're just going to take the other daughter from the other guy and make, she died once, so it doesn't matter. And then make her a charm one. What? I'm like, no. No matter how they spin this, it's stupid. So yeah, Marisol needs her own episodes. I thought for a moment that Harry was going to kill himself Romeo style. Yep, I thought they were not going to bring him back. I thought he was going to go out with Macy, and then you see them both holding hands and going off into the sunset or the cosmos or the magical realm, whatever they go. Maybe he could have been a guardian with her. But nope. I am so pissed off at the writers. It was all just way too quick and out of nowhere. Like, they should have built up to it at least. I agree. We should have had some clues to this. Absolutely. This was a good episode. You're just nitpicking over every little thing. The original charm should have done this for Shannon Doherty. Please just give it season 4 a chance to see how they do. Well, I respectfully agree. I have no problem with people disagreeing with my opinion, but this is my opinion and my channel. So you're listening to what I say in terms of this review. So I can nitpick because this is how I see this episode. And I have been reviewing this show forever. And I'm not nitpicking. This is a bad writing choice. This could have been done. Even if they were going to kill her this way, they should have built up to this. This has been all over the place. So continuity wise, I'm sorry. I disagree with you. What if Jordan is dead and he doesn't even know it? That would be an interesting spin. That would be an interesting spin. They wanted Jordan to kill Harry. Yep, Jordan is. I feel really sorry for Jordan. Jordan is literally the lapdog of the Charmed Ones and Harry. It's just what it is. He's their therapist. He's the person that has to do all of the dangerous stuff, like in last season when he pretty much had to simulate death and be in a body bag. I mean, there's not a lot that has not happened to Jordan. He even got put in the Tomb of Chaos and was going to stay there based on Abigail. And like everything that's happened to Jordan has been a direct basically a direct side effect of being around the Charmed Ones, except for his curse. And by the way, Jordan got himself out of his curse. The Charmed Ones did not help Jordan out of his curse. He got himself out. So I'm just saying, 90% chance the white lighter spell will work. Yep. And I brought a defibrillator just in case. Maybe they didn't have enough time. I don't know. West Coast episode hasn't aired, but here anyway. Hi, Eliana. How are you doing? It makes sense. Jordan is a medic, and now he can heal. I mean, I think everybody at some point or another in every review that I've done, I know that even Eloy has said this on the Turnouts channel, that we had no problem with him becoming a white lighter. We've always felt that Jordan should be rewarded for all the crap he goes through in this show. So that's not my problem. It's the other stuff that is the issue. Though I will say, if he became a white lighter through death, though, Celeste technically killed him. I'm just putting it out there. She killed him. He's immortal. He cannot handle the amount of electricity that she juiced up the defibrillator to handle. He was his entire hands were being electrocuted. Electricity is going through his body. You looked at the numbers on the defibrillator, and they were like over 1,092 and climbing. That is messed up. That is really messed up. Mara saw the Charmed Ones, their mother season 1, episode 1, and there was screwing all the men I knew I had 4 kids. Yeah, white lighter can only be made by a non-magical death by a mortal. So we got some explaining to do about Jordan. I'm just saying. But Jordan was the one using the machine. He couldn't back up. True. He was. But I mean, again, when she juiced it, did Celeste think she already came up with this brilliant, she was brilliantly saying, a white lighter is basically, it's not strong enough to heal a white lighter. He's not immortal. But did she think, but if I juice this, a mortal is holding the paddles? I'm like, so what's going to happen to you when I juice this up to a magical being level? That's what I don't think she thought that part through. I really don't. This episode gets me emotional. At least she had a better send-off than Prue. Yeah. Now, I think that Prue, though, and we don't know the timeline. We know that there was a lot of behind-the-scene drama between the actresses, especially with Alyssa Milano and Shannon Doherty. There was a lot of drama. And I will say, I don't know if it's a writing problem on that show or the fact that the actresses couldn't stand each other to be in a room with each other long enough to have those type of emotional scenes. Because again, there was so much drama behind the scenes. They are notorious for this drama. We've known this for a very long time, that these women did not get along behind the scenes. So it was a toxic environment. So that's probably why the send-off for Prue was very quick, because Shannon was like, I am out. So it's a thing. Jordan was meant to be a white lighter. I do agree with that. I think Jordan died from the shock, to be honest. So do I. Jordan was the pure soul. Yep. I think he died too. Jordan was killed by a mortal himself. Yep. While he was trying to save Harry. He was actually the one who was pretty much selfless. It was not Harry. I hate to say it, but it's true. I think Jordan and Harry are linked. That would be interesting if they're both half white lighters now. Like he has half of Harry's ability. Because she said it twice. I mean, I keep thinking she said the incantation twice. So I don't know what that means. I was kind of hoping Jordan could have avoided being a magical being, but I think I can vibe with a white lighter Jordan. I'm fine with Jordan being a white lighter. I think Jordan has the same powers, but he isn't a full white lighter. He just got hit with the powers. Could be a thing. It was a flashback seeing Mel desperate to use magic to save Macy. Yep. Damn, I really wish Jordan could have been a Cupid. Why on God's green earth are we the white lighters when we have Jada? If the writers remember on the Mel cell, no. We already know that everyone in Hilltown no longer exists except for the sorority house. And that's it. No, there's no other connections. Harry had to become immortal for the Jordan cliffhanger. I cannot wait for season 4 when it all comes back this year or next year. I'm so interested to see this fourth sister. So interested. Do you think Josefina is the fourth secret sister? If Josefina is the fourth sister, then that means, because I'm pretty sure Maggie is older than Josefina, but I don't quote me on that. I don't know. If Josefina is a year or two older than Maggie, the mama was really having fun. If Josefina is younger than Maggie, again, the mother was, because they make it feel to me like Marisol never went back to Puerto Rico after she left when she was younger. So then how would she have the opportunity to go back to Puerto Rico and give birth, like have Josefina and give birth to Josefina without her daughters realizing she was gone, or without anybody realizing that she was pregnant, or any of that stuff? How would that have worked? That's why my only working theory, which is just mine, if I was writing this script, that's what I went to film school for, was to write scripts and to produce movies. I would make it, if I had to, because for some reason Marisol is the scapegoat for everything that's wrong and Charmed. It would have been a teen pregnancy. She would have given birth to this child before she even met Dexter and Ray. This is back when she was younger. She was wanting to go to college, and the sister was like, I don't want this to ruin your life, so I will take care of this child, and this child will be mine. And then as the child's aunt, you will always have a connection to her, but she will be my daughter. And think about the drama that would cause if she was raised by, this girl finds out that her mother is actually her aunt, and her real mother, who is Mel and Maggie's mother, didn't want her. That's going to start a lot of drama. She'll have even more abandonment issues than Macy did, because her whole life is essentially a lie. So I could see that. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But I mean, I will accept that, because everything else that they do, if it really is a sister, makes Marisol look effing horrible. Even more horrible than, again, to be fair, the whole thing with Macy, she did out of love. She didn't want to die, and she didn't, she couldn't be around her child without dying. I get that. But sleeping with Dexter again and cheating on Ray to make Maggie, that was messed up. So I don't know. It is what it is. Macy looked like she had COVID. She looked horrible. She would just be a cousin. If you're talking about Josefina, I think Josefina is just the cousin. I hope the fourth sister is a woman of color. She would have to be, wouldn't she? Because if Marisol is her mother, she's going to be half Latina. So that makes her automatically a woman of color. I mean, my mother was white. My dad is Black and Native American. I'm still a woman of color. So, I don't see how she wouldn't be. She didn't get vaccinated and wear a mask. Ray, stop. She better be a woman of color. Macy is a spirit in the ethereal realm, and Harry is a corporeal being. Yeah. I hope the fourth sister is biracial too. We're going to talk about that in a minute. It'll probably fall for Abigail, but Abby is completely ready for family life with Mel. Yeah, Abby Mel should be a thing. We're going to talk about that too in a second. Macy remembered the wedding. I wonder if Harry knows about or remembers it as well. I mean, he wasn't in the dream, so only she would have seen that, because, her sisters and her were in the dream bucket list, thing going on with the lifeline spell. Marisol got 3 sets of 3s for backup. I swear, she has 3 more daughters. I'm done. I am done. I'm done. The destruction of the sisterhood is the damn writers and the damn network. I can't argue with that. That sucks for Harry and Harry Ray. Okay, here's my clown theory. Mel or Maggie had a twin. Why keep the twin away? What? Did that one die too? Too soon. Blue Saver. Oh, wait. Batwoman has the Bat Chaser, and this show has Marisol. Yeah, maybe Sophie and Marisol are cousins. I don't know anymore. It would make the most sense to be the younger. Yeah, but it also makes Marisol it makes her look the worst. It makes her look really bad, because Maggie was actually from an affair. So that would make this child the same. And what if it's another child that she had with Dexter? Then why wasn't Dexter raising her? Who's the daddy? Who is the effing daddy of this child? I'm telling you, it would make more sense for it to be a teenage boyfriend that she messed around with, messed up and got pregnant. Her sister took responsibility for this child so that Marisol could go to college. And then she took the book and left. And so the parents her family is not just mad that she took the book of shadows and went. They're also upset that she abandoned her daughter, even though technically she would have been seen as her aunt. That I will buy. I will say, all right, Marisol, yeah, you were messing up as a teen too, but I accept that. Her being older, I accept this. But yeah, this is going to be a mess. You're assuming it's someone else. I think it's Dexter's kid again, which makes me wonder, why wasn't Dexter raising this child? I think Marisol donated her eggs. She didn't need to. Like, I think it'll be a baby sister. How? I don't know. A younger sibling would make no sense. And you know what they'll probably do? They'll say, well, Marisol got pregnant again, and she knew that her daughter's lives were going to be very dangerous, and she didn't think that having that baby in the house would have been a good idea. So she gave the baby up for adoption because she thought it would be safer that way. You think I'm ranting now? Just wait to that episode. And God forbid it is not Harry or another white lighter. And God forbid if it is another white lighter that is not Harry, Jada does not end up being the sister, because that means Mel had it on with her sister. So we're going to leave Jada completely out of this mix. Oh, I think the twin sister for either Mel or Maggie would be the best choice. This sucks, period. Shake my head, Macy, come back. Power-wise, to the unbinding and stuff, the elder one would have the stronger power. True. They thought the demons were kinky. Yep, I think it would be a man, and that's why Marisol gave him up, because she thought that it would be immortal and in danger with the charmed one. I mean, that is something that was a little similar to what Penny and Sam did, and not Penny. No, I think it was Penny. I think Penny was the mother's name in Charmed. I always get her mixed up with her mother's name, Patty. Yeah, so they gave up their baby because it was illegal for a white lighter to get it on with a witch and have a kid. I guess in this version, it would be she had a baby with a white lighter, and then it's just too dangerous to raise this child around the other three that were going to be charmed. They're making Marisol look so bad. I feel like what they're going to explain is not going to make sense for a fourth season. I'm super worried. I really am. What if somehow Marisol didn't know she had a child because maybe the elders hid it from her? So she had the baby and they erased her memory? That's messed up. Wouldn't Celeste know? Would Celeste know who this fourth child is? She was an elder. Should she not know? I'm wanting the older sister to have known about witchcraft, but chose to go through witchness protection. I would go through it. Can they just summon Marisol real quick and ask her exactly how many children she has? Because I really hope that this is the last one. Oh my God, Sunrise, that's the best comment today. I love that so much. Marisol is like Oprah. You get a sister, you get a sister, you get a sister, you get a sister, and you get a sister, and you get a sister. You are absolutely right. I think it's younger, and from grief after Ray left her mishap with Dexter having Maggie, I can see her rebound and get knocked up. Makes more sense than an elder daughter. I think either or work. Honestly, that's just me though. I hope it's a brother. That would be so cool and different. That's what I'm saying. Did they say another one or another sister in the ending? Because it literally jumped on my end. She said there's another, and then it just said gloop. And then I'm like, and then next thing you saw them looking at her kind of crazy, and I'm like, oh Lord. Like I was like, please no. Let's see. I'm trying to get through these comments, guys. There are a lot. I'm sorry. I am sorry. And they already jumped up again. All right. Why did Harry become mortal to only become immortal again? Like, what is Celeste there for? Like, I can't answer that. Let me tell you something, Octavius. I've been asking questions about a lot of things in this plot, so I can't answer that for you. Let's see here. Okay, they already got that one. Maria, they literally made Marisol into a 3 or 4, and next season ratings 4 are gonna be down the drain, just like season 4 and the OG Charmed. Yeah, just tagged you in an Insta post I made back around 2:15. I appreciate it. I will check it out later. Everything poor Marisol did was because of her visions, like all of these horrible choices for the better outcome of her sight. It is pretty sad. She had to live with that weight and make those hard choices. I don't think that everything she did was for that purpose, because then if she had a vision telling her she had to go sleep with Dexter to make another kid so she could have charmed ones, that is effed up, because she could have slept with her husband, who she was married to, and have another kid. So I don't think every choice that she made came from her vision. Some of it came from Marisol, because that's how they're writing her. So does Celeste not have any healing powers as an elder, or what is she now? I don't know what the hell Celeste is anymore. I have no idea anymore. No clue. None. I'm the only French and Creole French speaker. My other 3 sisters didn't care to learn it. Which, again, I get that. But what I don't understand is, in Marisol's household, like, if your family speaks English and speaks French, then for some reason they didn't choose to speak French primarily with your other siblings on a regular basis, then yeah, I could see that being a thing. But what I don't get is how fluent Mel is. And yes, Mel is a little bit older than Maggie, but it's like when Maggie was born, they were like, well, this child's only going to know English. She doesn't have to learn Spanish, but we're going to still speak Spanish to each other all the time in the house in front of you. And you're not going to pick up anything. So are you telling me that your siblings don't know any French, not any words, nothing at all? Because that's just very strange, especially for a series that was advertised originally having Latina representation. I got questions, guys. Also, Jordan to the rescue. It's always Jordan. What did I just walk into? Angry grandma. Let's see. She's a modern day Cassandra. It's really tragic if you think about it. Celeste is a witch. She's supposed to be a witch because all elders are witches. Welcome to the support group. Is it just me, but Mel still had a red fingernail polish? Another reviewer pointed out the book with charm names are red, and when they touched the book, Mel had a red fingernail polish. She did. Everyone thought because her nail polish was red that she was the one that was going to die. And they did write it so that she was supposed to be the one that died, but the 2 sisters went in with her. And when she was basically sacrificing herself, they all 3 shared it. And that's how they got the magical allergy. I think initially it was Mel that was supposed to die. And I guess it rolled over to Macy because somebody had to die in the group. Imagine if they introduced Astra as their charm sister. Wait, Astra from the Tomorrow People? It's the same actress. That would be cool. I like how we have 2 white lighters now. Yeah, but why? You love bringing up Harry's other family because they don't. You're damn right I do. Whenever they say, well, Harry has no, basically everything in the mortal realm has been resolved. He has no baggage. He's clear. No, he doesn't. Because the reason that I bring up this right here is because they brought it up in season 2 when Jimmy kidnapped Macy and Abigail was in Harry's head, and you see a flashback of him talking to his first wife, and she said, I knew that you were cheating on me, but another family, Harry, how could you? I can never forgive you for that. And that is literally the last we have heard of this since that episode. I can give you the episode name. I wrote it down. I can tell you the time code in the scene. That is why I bring it up all the time, because they never resolved it. And so why bring something into light if you have no plans on going anywhere with it, especially when Harry in this episode or in this season wanted to be mortal and he needed to go find somebody in his family line that could basically get some life energy to him to be able to come, for the spell to work for him to become mortal. And the only thing he said was, or the only thing they came to the conclusion of, his son is dead. So that only leaves his grandson. But that's not true because he has a whole ass other family. So yeah, I'm always going to bring that up. Always. I don't want the power of sight. If you got to make these kind of choices and lose your own selfish wants for the greater good, I am sorry. I mean, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Harry's plot was totally for nothing. I agree. But Celeste can orb. Can she orb? I can't remember if she could orb, if she was using the command center to get through thing. I don't remember if she was orbing or not. Maggie, Mel, and Matthew. Let's get it trending. I wonder if the new sister will be older or younger. Either or. I mean, either way, it doesn't look good for Marisol. Yeah, Maggie looked like she was in shock. Lucky for the writers, a lot of stuff can be blamed on the sight powers. True. That is very true. But at the same time, no. Maria, this happens with Phoebe too. She couldn't fall apart because Piper did and had to wait. She discussed it in season 4 when everyone breaking down, someone has to be strong. Yeah, I know that that's what they wrote in there, but I also know that her actress and Shannon didn't get along very well. So But Phoebe did show more emotion. I will give you that than they did in this scene. But we have no idea how messed up they're going to be in season 4. So we have to see how they are in season 4. Now, if in season 4 they go through it and they have one little scene where they have a breakdown and then they just kind of move on from that, that's messed up. But who knows? Who knows? Who absolutely knows? Mel is a fighter. Makes sense she would go to her default in a crisis. I agree with that. What about Harry? How was we have not watched it yet? Love your energy. Thank you. So if you haven't watched it yet, Harry is alive. He is a white lighter again. Harry's not leaving. By destroying the Whispering Evil, the timeline no longer exists. So future Mel would have her own kid now because present Mel should have given birth in the present. Weird time paradoxes. Well, I'm going to say this too. I'm going to put my lipstick on because I'm talking so much and this is very chapping because my room is hot. Okay. I'm using you guys as a mirror. I'm sorry. So I'm going to say this about this. Okay. I was in labor for 18 and a half hours. So I know what contractions are like. I know what labor is like. I know how debilitating it can be. At the end of the last episode, Mel was having all of these contractions. And she was like, they are 4 minutes apart. What happened from the 4 minutes apart contractions to this episode? Because most of the time, Mel was not even in labor. So I need to know. Somebody please explain to me how the labor stopped, because she wasn't taking the tea that Josefina gave her because it would have gotten rid of her powers. So how was she not in labor? That's what I need to know, this information. First, they ruin Mel. I love the feminist and feisty Mel from season 1. And now they not only ruin Macy, they also kill her and kill Hasty. Yep. That's basically what happened. Let's see here. Fighting death itself for family. Harry says you're wrong. Can you give some context? Macy's was blue. Yeah. So I said this. I recanted that like 20 minutes ago. But thank you for saying that again. If we thought controlling Mel was gone from season 1, she's going to come back on steroids and be super overprotective after this, especially with Maggie and Magic. She's going to go on Magic. Oh yeah. Yeah. She's going to have some issues. Maybe the next charm just has to be a Vera. Age doesn't matter. I mean, yeah. Sounds like a younger sibling's worst nightmare, right? It's a Vera daughter. Well, if it's a Vera daughter, it's a Ray daughter. Would Ray hide a kid out of spite? That's interesting. No, let's not have a grief arc. They have to clean this mess up quick. This is making me want to rewatch Charmed. It's messed up that they bonded the most in Macy's final episode. Yeah, the road trip got me. It was like, you could have been doing this the whole effing time. Oh my gosh, it was so anticlimactic. 5 minutes in and Whispering Evil is dead. Well, I mean, we already knew that. I mean, that happens in every Arrowverse and every CW show. We were always going to have the big baddie go down quickly. Just what happens. Super controlling, angry older sister coming out of the blue and not used to being a sister. Yeah, this one definitely not going to move into sex like Macy did with that emo mess. Yep. Could Josefina possibly be a long lost sister instead of a cousin? You know what? I don't think so, but I'm not going to rule anything out anymore because you know what? With this, who knows? Please don't cone to the show, Marisol. Harry not going to risk his checks because Macy got homesick. He got to pay bills. He only has a few episodes as a flashback father on Bridgerton. He only has 8 episodes, I think. I think he's in 8 of the episodes, right? Like as flashback or a ghost or something like that. It's because Jordan's black. What is? This episode sucked. I agree with Maria, and y'all don't be disrespectful to this woman who's literally doing all this for us. It's fun. I mean, one thing, guys, I appreciate people checking out my reviews. I do it because it's fun. It obviously, even though I'm monetized, I don't make money off of this. I do it because I like doing it, because I like doing reviews, but I am never going to say what you want me to say. because you want me to say it. I'm always going to say my truth and how I feel. And if you want to check out some other person's channel that says what you want to say and doesn't want to make waves with you, then you are free to unsubscribe. And I am absolutely serious about that because I'm never going to be that reviewer. I'm just not. I'm going to tell it how I see it. Doesn't mean how you see it, how I see it. My opinion on this episode. You can agree. You can disagree. It is fine. I am not going to hate on you for it. Now, I will say some shit to you if you post some shady stuff on my comments that I don't like, or you go off on somebody else for having an opinion. You may. I might just block you. But outside of that, I'm never going to say anything to you for saying something different from what I said. That's never going to happen on any of these reviews. I'm not that person. You don't have to agree with anything that I'm saying in these reviews, period. Any video of anything I make, you do not have to agree with me. That's not what a human being does in the world. I'm so sad that Macy is leaving the show. The show won't be the same without her. I agree. It's going to be very weird. And I felt the same way when Prue, because Prue was my favorite charm one in the OG show. It was very hard. And honestly, Paige I never warmed to her. I accepted her. But I didn't warm to her character. I didn't like her, to be honest with you. But there were points where Phoebe was getting on my nerves too. So it is a thing. Watch season 4, focus on Harry and his feelings. I would like to say you're wrong, but I know you're right. I just remembered that Safe Space has lost another boss. Hell, Safe Space may be losing Safe Space because if she's the owner, there's nobody left fighting for Safe Space. And so the company can just close it. That probably was what's going to happen. Jordan is the Leo of the new Charm series. I agree with that. I do. It's all over the place, but I agree with it. As much as Harry being written out at the same time as Macy makes sense, I don't blame the actor for not wanting a paycheck. I agree. I mean, he wants to make that money. What happened to Mel's baby? So future Mel came and took it back and instantly went into labor because past Mel, for some reason, her contractions stopped. OG did their epic battles better. 2 people all out magic battle and really didn't know who would win in any of those big battles they had. I love season 4's Source Clash. They got spanked. I agree with that. Jordan is the Daryl of this charm. He's kind of Daryl and Chris, only without being the son of one of the futures or one of the charm ones from the future. He kind of has like a Chris thing going, a Chris vibe, and I could definitely see Daryl. I agree. Jordan needs to be rewarded for the good he has done. He needs a damn award. Humanitarian Award of the Year. Technically, the charm lost the ultimate battle and got bodied, but came back with a cheat, messing with time for a do-over. That's fair. It's 84 viewing. Get them thumbs up, y'all. Click them up or click them down. It doesn't matter. I mean, it lets people know that we're here. I'm sorry, Piper grieving over Prue. Holly acting is outmatched. I don't think any of those actresses can touch that, but Macy in the shows were reversed. I will say, like I said, it's probably another thing that I believe at the time, Holly and Shannon were good friends. So she was also crying because her friend was leaving the show. If you have good, as an actress, I will tell you, if you have good motivation from real life, you can do those scenes. So, I mean, I'm not saying that that Mel and that Melanie and Sarah Jeffrey were not upset that Madeleine was leaving the show, but I don't know how close they were. I have no idea. I don't know if they hung out with each other off set. I don't know their lives or their relationships because I don't work on the set. But I do know that Shannon and Holly have said that they were really good friends, really, really good friends. They were friends prior to Charmed, if I remember correctly. So she's probably putting a little bit of her real life emotion into that scene. Jordan is a combination of Daryl and Leo. I can see that too. Oh, Swan, take the wheel. We need baby Swan. Hashtag charm drama. They couldn't stand each other. It got so toxic between Alyssa and Shannon, but Alyssa had more Hollywood pull, so Shannon got fired. Yep. Which is stupid because Shannon at that point, he did the show called Who's the Boss? I don't know if you guys saw that with Tony Danza back in the Judith Light back in the day. But if you remember, Shannon Doherty was on Little House on the Prairie. She was on another one I can't remember, but she was also on 90210. She was more well-known than Alyssa Milano was at that time. Alyssa Milano wasn't even really working on stuff but B-rated movies prior to that. She was in this very hypersexual vampire movie prior to Charmed that was so B-rated it was laughable. So I don't know why she had more pull. because Shannon was working more. So it's weird. It's a very weird thing. But in OG, they had more sisterly moments with all three sisters, even with the drama than they did in this show. True. Wasn't Shannon fired when she was in Ireland filming for a movie? At least Madeleine got a better send off. See, I don't know. There's like some people say she was fired. Some people said she went to Aaron Spelling because, she left 90210, and apparently she caused some drama on that show, but we don't know if it was between her and Jenny Girth or if it was all dramatic. Maybe she was seen as the problem child, so there could be some truth to that. Again, I'm speculating, but in some reviews or some interviews, they said she quit. She said she wanted out. And then there's another rumor that she gave the studio ultimatum. It was her or Alyssa, and they got rid of her. So however you want to spin it, I mean, it wasn't good. Why does Brad Kern always ruin good shows? I'm calling it now. Those writers are working for Brad Kern to ruin the show into his own version. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Harry will find love in Jordan. That'll make Maggie sad. I also feel like Josefina might know something. Yeah, wouldn't it be messed up if the daughter was her sister? That would be messed up. We get our white lighter witch babies now. We actually got our white. Well, that's interesting because in the dream world, Harry's probably mortal. So we didn't get our white lighter witch babies if he was mortal in the dream world and the bucket list dream world. We just got half witch, half mortal. So that's interesting. I read an article that said that Shannon was fired after filming the season finale. She initially wanted to leave after season 2, but her contract wouldn't allow it. She was looking forward to season 4. Wow. Yeah, that's messed up. They'd be foolish not to use Josefina. I mean, we need Josefina regardless, but I don't know if they're going to make her a sister. Does this mean that we'll get a dark, lighter Jordan? That's a good question. No, it wouldn't make sense. She has been doing magic longer than the Vera sisters. I mean, if she was, the other, I want to say Vera because I can't remember what Marisol's maiden name was. I thought Ray's last name was Vera. So what is her last name? I really need to get these names down. You know how like Ruby doesn't have a last name, or at least it's a W or an M or something like that. But Marisol's family practices magic in Puerto Rico. So the girl would know magic already. The fan that knew about Mads leaving months ago, they called it Charm Brexit on Twitter. Look it up. I'm sure. I don't think this just came out of the blue. This is all we learned this out of the blue. And I don't go on Twitter enough to see all of these theories and things. I wonder if the 4th season will have telekinesis or different powers or a variant of telekinesis. Well, if she's half white lighter, she might have the exact same power set as Paige, which would be very interesting. Maybe Marisol donated her eggs for money when she was in college. If you are a witch, why would you do that? Like that, you already know your child's gonna be half witch. That's not smart. Marisol with her visions wouldn't have left Josefina and knowing everything that she would have powers. I hope they don't bring Abigail back to put her with Harry, and then Mel gets jealous, and we end up with the billions love triangle on the show. I'll just turn the episode off. Josefina feels like an easy route for a new sibling to fill in the spot Macy left open. I absolutely agree. Doesn't change the fact that Holly did a phenomenal job portraying the grief of losing a sister. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Josefina's parents were already discussed her branch and Vera's branch not on good terms. I like the idea of Marisol donating her eggs maybe to a family that couldn't produce a child, but it still wouldn't it be a risk to donate your eggs to this family and you're an elder, you're a witch. The child would be half witch and would never know their lineage. Unless she donated to a witch family. I don't know. That's just weird. That's a really weird route. Only way to save Marisol is to make her not know she had another child somehow. That or my theory that she had a child as a teenager and her sister raised the kid so it wouldn't quote unquote ruin her life. Little sister and Ray. So you think the little sister is Ray's child? Wait, so is Maggie going to be the half sister now and the sister's going to be Mel's full sister? Well, they can bring the Latina representation back. This episode was a lot. I agree. Okay. There was similar family situation in Kung Fu and now a secret sister in Charmed. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that we like to have repeat plots across the board here. I really hope that the sisters will finally have a good connection like Mel and Macy were awkward, like they never had a deep connection. Agree. The writers seem responsive to fan complaints, so she might be full Latina, but I'm hoping biracial. Hopefully she went for a Dexter stand-in. It happens with breakups. She might have a thing for for chocolate. I kind of would have thought Macy's demon powers would heal her. But I mean, she apparently only has the fire ability. She doesn't have her demon blood, which is weird. I'm hoping she's biracial too. Okay, I'm going to take a few more because we have a lot. If I don't get to your comments, please put it in the comments below when this is over, because I want to be able to make sure I at least get to read it and try to respond to all of them. I just jumped down. Mel is Mexican. I thought Mel was actually Puerto Rican in real life too. So I don't know. I have to look at that, but I think they're supposed to be Puerto Rican. Is Ray Puerto Rican? Because the mother's from Puerto Rico. Was Ray from Puerto Rico? Did they establish that? I don't know. It's confusing. Mel is Puerto Rican, not Mexican. Okay, that's what I thought. Like, I know Marisol is Puerto Rican, so she's at least half in the show. And in real life, I thought she was actually Puerto Rican too. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. Okay, so Madeleine Mantock is leaving. And so I wanted to put this in this I really wanted to talk about this because it's interesting. Now, again, I told you guys I don't go on Twitter a lot, but people have been linking me to stuff. And I ended up actually responding to a comment because on Charmed Writers on Twitter, there are people that are coming out of the woodworks and basically saying different reasons why Madeleine Mantock is leaving the show. Now, I know that I've had on Instagram, somebody linked me to some articles or some things that, some posts that Madeleine made about how she was unhappy that, you know, the writers were pretty much writing more stories for the white actors on the show and not for the women or people of color on the show, which is true a little bit. It is. So I'm trying to say this in a very PC way because, you know, I always feel like whenever I talk about anything race or race is a construct, anything ethnicity, you know, culturally or anything else on that level, anything related to anything when it comes to self-identification and a group of people, you always want to be that person that stays on a line. But at the same time, you don't want to be accused of being on the left or on the right or being woke or having an agenda. So it's hard for me as a queer biracial woman in her 40s, because when I was growing up, it was a little different on how things were looked at. Not saying racism wasn't there. It was a little different than how people of today, like my daughter, she'll be 25 next month. No, I'm sorry, in September 14th, she will be 25. How they see race or ethnicity and all the struggles is different from how we viewed them in the 90s. Not saying we didn't view them as effed up. I'm just saying that right now, because of, unfortunately, everything being canceled all of the time, some needs to be canceled. Some is just extreme stuff. It gets very interesting having conversations in regards to what I'm about to talk about. But one of the posts that people ran with is that the reason that Madeleine left is because she was upset that Abigail's character was getting a redemption arc and was getting more story, and that a villain should just be a villain. And that led to other people saying, well, that's because Abigail is racist. And now it's trickled down to Poppy herself being a racist. And that is why Madeleine left. So that's one theory of why Madeleine left, all based on her complaining about the direction of the writers, which I thought was interesting. And so I keep going back in my mind, and I'm just going to put this out here. Okay, guys, this is how I actually feel as a half Black, part Native, part Scottish woman who loves all of herself has no problem with her blackness, has claimed her blackness, has lived in all black neighborhoods, moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where it is 62.3% black. I don't have a problem with my blackness. I am not brainwashed by the man. I've never had a problem with this. Okay, guys, I have to say this because when you look at my shade and you see me talking and it's coming out of my mouth, all I'm going to get is, what the fuck does she know? So this is how I feel. The problems with Charmed started way before this. Because when they advertised this show, they advertised it as Latina. They cast one Latina actress and two half white, half black actresses to play half black and half Latina. If that had been any other race, if this had been advertised as three black sisters, and I'm telling the damn truth, and they cast one dark-skinned black actress, and then they cast Macy, and they cast Maggie, they would have been effing canceled. But they did not. But because the actresses are like me, ambiguous, or can pass, then they felt it doesn't matter that this is a whole ass culture. We can pass these two women that have nothing to do with said culture to basically play these damn parts. That was the problem from the effing beginning. So if you go into a show or a series when they have no problem telling people of Hispanic and Latina descent that we don't give an F about you, because yes, we can cast a half black and half white person, but to play a half black, half Latina person, that was a problem to begin with. So that is my first problem with that shiz. My second problem with that shiz is, if you're going to get mad at them giving Abigail more story, when they promoted Abigail to a regular character, a regular cast member means you get more time on screen. That's fine. I don't want to say it at the expense of Macy's character because she's absolutely effing right. She should have been in more scenes. But let me tell you people something, because I know you understand what I'm saying because you're very intelligent. Macy's actress and our character and actress was disrespected from the get-go because they made this beautiful, strong, half-black scientist woman become a dwindling mess over a man. Her whole plot, her entire plot became hazy. Everything that Macy was outside of Harry no longer existed. That is number two that I had a problem with. This is why I would have left the damn show. And number three, if you're going to talk about the white characters getting more play, then baby, Harry's ass should have been gone a long ass time ago, because season 2 was about Harry. Season 3 was Harry and Macy. Harry has had so much effing screen time. I thought he was a damn charm one. So that I'm putting that in perspective because people are not listening. When you look at these posts, all they see is another black woman got disrespected. Baby, that is a tiny portion of this problem. A tiny problem. So when I tell you I have a problem with the writing and the showrunners, this is what I'm talking about. Because this has been a problem. This is not just a black issue. This is across the board. And you cannot tell me in 2021 that Mel, a whole ass Hispanic woman, is not having any racism in Trump America. I do not think so. But we never saw anything directed at Mel other than her problems in college, her activism stuff, and her love drama. Never saw anybody say, hey, Mel, we're going to build a wall when you're leaving. I know they do it, baby, because they did it to me, because they thought I was Hispanic and I live in the South. So I'm just putting it out here because people need to hear it. It is effed up. If we want powerful black stories for women, that shit should have been written as and advertised as something other than Latina. It could have been women of color. And all of them need to have women of color situations, not just Macy carrying the torch for BLM. Maggie's ass should have had problems. Mel's ass should have had problems. So again, I digress. Sorry, angry grandma had to come out. But when I see these comments and everyone's like, oh, well, it's all because Abigail, got all this time on TV. Yeah, she got a lot of play. The every 2 to 3 episodes they had her in, she got lots of focus. I will agree with that. Macy's character took a back burner to a lot of stuff because she had no identity. She was just Hasty. So I mean, please, 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 in the name of God, do not throw around this racist crap, but you're completely okay with Harry being in the damn show when he took the focus the entire effing time. It was Harry and his charmed ones. It was not the charmed ones. It was Harry and Charmed. It was not Charmed. I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear it. That is BS. So, and then on top of that, we never really addressed Maggie's blackness outside of one damn episode where she tried to join a black like group at student. I think it was like a black college driven club at school. And then she felt, and quote, I felt like I really didn't belong there. Okay, so Macy, who has the same father and same mother, belong there because she's a little darker than you, but you don't. Like I said, it was a mess from the effing beginning. So, just saying, end rant. So, just had to throw that out there, guys, because you know what? Maria tries to be very open-minded. I try to stay on in the middle of the whatever we're having, the ships, the whatever. I try not to get in that lane, but man, that shiz was pissing me off. So I had to let it out. I'm gonna get an angry. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna get an angry grandma icon for this channel. You gonna know. I mean, you'll probably know if I pop it in the thumbnail what kind of rant we're gonna have for the day. But I just had to put it up there. I had to put it out there. Woo! In my feelings, guys. All right, and we'll do a few more questions since we were talking about this. Because I turned my comments off. I have to do that when I talk because I have to make sure I get my stuff out. And you guys will know that how I review anime and how I review like other stuff is no different from how I do live action. If I find something problematic, I talk about it. But Charmed, it's like Kung Fu, such a show with amazing effing potential that just has the bad luck of having stupid showrunners and horrible writing. And I feel so bad. I feel so bad because in reality, you do have mixed families. You have, a sister or maybe all black or all white, and then have siblings that are half black and half white or Hispanic or Asian or whatever. It happens, but it was not written right. From somebody who has had their entire existence in an interracial family, who's in an interracial marriage right now. It wasn't written right. It was not written right. And so I can tell they were reaching and they didn't know what the hell they were doing. So it is a thing. The white lighter should have been a black man. I would have loved that. I would have loved, and we saw one, remember we saw one black white lighter who saved a witch when Julian was little. And remember they got into the car crash and that's when he first saw magic. He saw black white lighters. So we know they exist. We just don't know where the hell they are. So, and technically we got Jordan. So Jordan, I guess, can take that void. That's if they allow him to stay a white lighter in season 4. We have no idea. He may have to sacrifice his powers for Harry because everybody has to sacrifice everything for Harry. I actually don't hate Harry. I just hate the importance of Harry in this show. The white lighter should never be the one that's most protected in this world. It's a thing. It is a thing. I hope Maggie and Jordan's kid look it too. I think Maggie and Jordan's kid would be gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But again, it's a thing. It is a thing. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll up. I'm so sorry. Because like whenever someone comments, it goes up and then mine actually closes. So I have to open it up again. I think it's a Chrome defect. I upgraded my browser last week and it's just been going absolutely out of its mind. Maggie learned she was black and then the next episode curled her hair and did it up. Nope, that's not true, Ray. She learned she was half black in season 2. No, season 1. Season 1 in Hilltown. She didn't curl her hair, baby, till season 3. We a little confused on that timeline, aren't we? No. Besides, straightening your hair, curling your hair, that does not erase your blackness. I flat iron my hair because I live in 96% humidity. And as a curly girl, I understand that curls like moisture, and too much moisture in the air does not equate to no frizz. So we don't play these games. I'm not spending $400 on any type of curly hair products, not Diva Curl, not Hell Curl, not Mother Curl, not Take My Curls to Heaven. No, we're going to wear our hair curly when it's not humid, and we're going to layer it straight, throw it up, do whatever when it's not. That is how we women of color survive. And there are women out there that are braver than me. Power to you. I don't have that time. I'm just not doing it. Mm-mm. So yeah, just throwing out a little curl knowledge for you. Because if you don't have the curls, then you don't know. Now you know. If you do, then you should feel my pain. Humidity is not our friend, baby. It's not. It is not. Let's see. Season 1, episode 11, when Macy drops the cold bomb on there. Yep. And she came in there and is like, we're full sisters and you're only half. I'm like, she got Mel back for being mean to her the first time they met in that one moment. Let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling up. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You should think she signed some kind of NDA. I'm not saying she should explain everything, but just tell people to calm down a bit. I mean, like I said, people only get mad at one thing. They find one thing and they don't think about the overall issues in the entire show. There's a show that I love called Station 19. It is, a very, very good show. It's a Shonda Land show. So if you watch Bridgerton, you watch Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and Grey's Anatomy, you understand who this woman is. She's brilliant. But, the writing makes mistakes sometimes. And the problem that I have with that episode, which I also can relate to this, is two things happened in one episode. They were reacting to what happened to, there was two issues that were happening, but there was one BLM riot, and everybody was actually reacting to George Floyd, and then somebody got beat up in a riot, and there was a big thing, and the firefighters were like predominantly. I think they have 4 of the firefighters identify as Black. Now, the female in the show is actually half white. Her mother is Polish, and her father is Black. For some reason, you're not allowed to say you're biracial. I don't know what this is about. I've been calling myself biracial my whole life. It does not erase my Blackness. It does not brainwash me into anything. That being biracial is just what I am, because I have two different parents that don't match ethnically. It's just what it is. If I go to the doctor, the 1-drop rule is not going to prevent me from getting diseases from my white mama. So I just figured, genetically speaking, I can say I'm biracial and it does not negate my Blackness or anything else about me at all. But I see in media and in television, you're not allowed to say you're biracial. It is not something you're allowed to say. In the States, that is. So she wasn't allowed to say that she was biracial at all. So that was the first problem I had. And then the second problem I have, which is something that I know happens, we as Black folks in this country, we understood that the severity of racism and slavery and the impact of discrimination and the cruelty of white supremacy. We understand this. We understand this, guys. But we should never make another person of color feel like because they are not Black, that they don't matter. And in this episode, they have a character who is half Asian and half white, and his mother went into a store and they spit on her and told her that she brought COVID to this country, which of course happened in Trump America. This is basically inspired by what happens, or what is happening with a lot of the elderly Asians being attacked in the streets for something that wasn't even their effing fault by ignorant ass people in this country. And he even said in this episode, I wanted to talk about it, but then everything happened with George Floyd and with the BLM march and the attacks. And I felt like my stuff wasn't as important. And that is another effing problem. And I relate that to what's happening in Charmed, because we focus on BLM. We need to focus on stuff like this. We understand this. This needs to be, there are men and women and children that are Black that are being gunned down in the streets. That is not something that we are not going to battle, advocate for, be pissed at. That's not going to take away from this struggle. But because we are so focused on BLM, then what's happening with every other person of color is made to not effing matter. And that is another issue that I have. And so that is why when I say that Mel never went through an issue of being told to go, that they're going to build a wall and that, she's not welcome in the United States or anything. Or don't speak your language here because, you're in America now, speak English, even though she lived here her whole life. None of that was even addressed. None of it was addressed in Charmed. And I'm just like, the only thing they did was make Macy have a white woman show her entitlement and touch her hair and do things that, she should have been smacked for. But that is literally only Macy. It was literally only Macy that went through that. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Guys, I told you the second half of this review was going to be it about this stuff. So back to Madeleine Mantock. We don't work for the CW. Sometimes we say thank goodness. Most times we say thank goodness. We aren't behind the scenes. We aren't cast members. We aren't the crew. We aren't the guest stars. We aren't the extras. We do not know what happened officially between Madeleine and the showrunners and the executives of the CW. She's welcome back. So just to put that out there, she's welcome back. But that doesn't mean that, yes, she probably did really, basically leave because she was tired of the writing. She probably also could have been tired of being in the States, being away from her family for 10 months out of a damn year because they film in Canada for 10 months out of a year. That is a lot. But again, I'm not going to say that she was happy with her character because hell, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't be. I mean, it literally was character assassination in a way. The Macy from season 1 who was with Gavin and was doing brilliant science, experiments and working in a lab was on track to be amazing. That character was basically dumped. And all we got was Macy pining for Harry, getting with Harry, not able to touch Harry. Harry became Macy's whole effing identity. So, yeah, we cannot be those people that get on Twitter and get on YouTube videos and make reviews and comments and Twitter posts saying, and quote, she left because she was tired of being treated as being treated as the only person of color on the show and that Abigail and her actress is racist and all they care about is white people. Because we don't know her until she comes out and says this verbatim in a damn post. I'm not going to sit here and say all of this. So now, Toby, I do see this. The thing is, Abby even stole her powers. I'm okay. So this goes back to the writing. Once again, we are all in agreement. I think if you've been watching me rant for over an hour and a half, you're never going to get disagreement from me on what the writers did. They character assassinated Macy. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if they did it because Abigail's actress is white or because they made her a main character and they didn't know what the hell to do with her. I mean, she's all over the damn place. Be angry that Macy and Marisol and Mel and Maggie don't have exposition and backstories when Harry and Abigail had all the backstories. I see it, guys. I'm not stupid. I'm just telling you it was problematic from the jump. From the casting, it was problematic of this show. People need to see this. They didn't just do it to a woman who was black or, in our case, half black or biracial. They did it to a woman who was Hispanic. They did it to all people who absolutely 1 trillion% represent or are actually self-identify as Latina or half Hispanic. They basically said it doesn't matter that we cast actors in these roles that don't share your culture because they look it. Why aren't people bitching about that? Why aren't people upset about this? I don't get it. I I don't get it. So, yeah, whatever. It's a thing. I'm going to do a few more. Chashin, I saw you just did a super chat. You are awesome. I did see it, lady. I appreciate it. Because, you know, all of your funds go to Angry Grandma's pills because she going to need them after this. We're gonna probably inhale both of these oils today. We're going to be sitting there lighting our peace candle, praying to Jesus. Because, it's a thing. If it were a few years ago, the stories would be different. But right now, makes more sense to reject what's happening with the BLM, Asian, trans, and health community. I think they try to tie in major, I think you get cut off, Ray, current news trends and storylines. No, like I said, nobody's telling anybody to stop writing BLM stories. I'm saying understand that there are people with issues outside of BLM that are of color and of other, you know, groups that are being discriminated against. My spouse is trans male. I can't tell you the problems we face in the South because of this. I mean, it's even when they put on our medical form or on River's medical form, when we go to the doctor's office, it even has your gender. Sometimes it'll say male or female, or sometimes it'll say male, female, or other. And you put other. They still look at the form and then say ma'am in the freaking appointment. They also ask if we're sisters all of the time because, you know, I look so Korean, guys. Like I said, there are issues out there. There are issues in the Native American or First Nation world that has been going on since, I don't know, 1492. Nobody seems to give a crap about that. That's never in anybody's stories. I think Kristen Kramer's character on The Flash brought into the scope that, oh, we live on a res and you know how they treat us. It was a sentence or two sentences that Adam says to Kristen in that episode that it went like that. It went like that. It's like, but you Native. Yeah, you're not on anybody's platform. The biggest thing for you a few years ago was Standing Rock, but we see how that went down. Well, does anyone care what happened to them? Now that their pipeline is underneath them and their water is even more brown now. So, yeah, we need fair representation for across the board for every discrimination. It is all terrible. All of it is terrible. Write stories about all of it. Don't just pick what is popular for you, because that is why they write BLM stories, baby. It's not because they care. It's because that's what's in. And that is sad, because if it was them writing it out of their dare to defy and whatever, basically their compassion in their hearts, we would have been seeing this a lot sooner than the BLM marches. Just saying. It's interesting. It is interesting. I signed up for a witch show. The fact that they were other races did make me a bit more interested, but the fact that it was charmed about witches, it instantly had my attention. Yeah, and like I said, as long as they had made the story correctly, that would have been fine. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of stuff that I'm saying to you guys. You're going to see in my documentary. You're also going to see in my collaboration. As a matter of fact, we are filming it next Friday. We'll see when we can get it on. It will be in 2 parts. One will be on her channel. The other part will be on my channel. I am just putting it out there, guys, because Angry Grandma is in her feelings. It's just a thing. They need to address mental illness adequately. Maggie having panic attacks every other episode got tiring. Well, I mean, when Abigail was like pretty much suicidal, they were like, get over it. When Swan was possessed, they told her to hydrate. I mean, we all know that mental illness is not the strong suit either of the continuity of this show. So, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm jumping all over the place. I'm going to do a few more because we're almost at 1 hour and 45 minutes. And again, guys, seriously, if I do not answer your comments, I do. Even if I don't do it immediately, I do go back and you'll see me start going and plugging in the comments and looking at them. If I like them, if I don't think I have anything to add, I will at least love your comment. But I am reading them. So please, if I don't get to you, please put it in the comments when this video is over. Agree they need to bring back the original writers from season 1 who would keep things consistent. Absolutely. I would be so happy. I would be happy if they went back to Hilltown. I think if they had kept it in Hilltown and had the original showrunners, Madeleine would still be here. We'd still have her in season 4. That is 100% the truth. I really believe that. We could have still had Jordan come in another capacity. They could even had Abigail come in as a new love interest for Mel, or somebody trying to get revenge on the Charmed Ones for killing Alistair. They could have done anything with that. This whole going to Seattle, command center, all of this stuff. I thought it was going to be, a catalyst for opening us up to the magical world. No, it's not. They do hardly nothing with this stuff. So it's stupid. It's really stupid. They killed Gavinoff because he was black, same way Jordan is the punching bag counselor. I do believe that that's why. I think somebody said something to me about Galvin wanted to do something with his hair and they fired him. I would love to know what that was about. Again, this is me speculating. I don't work there. So I want people going back to me like, well, Maria said. No, Maria didn't, because Maria does not work on that set. So, but it's interesting. But back to the whole thing about Abby stealing her powers, though, in general, story-wise. She did and she didn't. So I have this oil. I tell somebody I don't want this anymore, and they throw it away. And then somebody comes along and grabs it. Did they steal it from me? It's a question that I have. Now, if you're talking about in terms of characterization and writing, and the character Macy should have kept it, I don't know what she said about this. I'm of the opinion, I loved the fact that Macy had demon blood. I loved the fact that her whole life she had to battle her evil side. I loved it. I thought taking that story from her that they built up so beautifully in season 1 was epically stupid. But again, that's a writing issue. So there's nothing that I can say or do about that. Nothing at all. Let's see. On the subject of more accurate representation across the board for stories, what are your thoughts on non-LGBTQ actors or actresses playing an LGBTQ character? That's hard. That is hard. I don't want, it's just like with my biracial sisters and brothers. I know that they don't write stories for us. I know you have to work. So it's still problematic. I don't know if I could have done it. I don't know if I could have gone for Charmed and been like, yeah, I can be Hispanic this week or on TV for the next 10 months. I don't know if I could have done that. But I can't hate on people who work. I can't hate on the actors. I have to hate on the people that write the stories because it's hard. A lot of actors that are in the LGBTQ community, they have problems coming out. So somebody you think is straight that's playing an LGBTQ role could actually be bisexual, pansexual, lesbian, whatever, gay. Like look at Elliot. Elliot used to be Ellen Page, just came out as trans, has identified as a lesbian for years, and now true self is actually a man. So that's harder for me because identity, sexual identity is harder because people, even now, they put themselves in closets. So I can't get upset about an actor because I really don't know where their legion lies. And I'm always I'm one of those people that's like everyone's on a spectrum anyway. If they believe, even if they don't realize it or not, it just takes that one person. So I always believe that people are they have the potential to be on a spectrum. So if you're going to ask me that question, that's what it is. I can't tell an actor they can't play a role in the LGBTQ community because honestly, you could be on the spectrum. It's different with ethnicity and culture because you know what you are. You know what you were raised as. You can get your 23andMe. My 23andMe says I'm 6% Asian. That's fine. I'm Bengali. I'm all bunch of stuff. But my direct lineage is my mother was from Scotland, born and raised, and my father was from Memphis, Tennessee. His father was Apache Indian. His mother was black. My daddy looks completely black. And that is how I was raised. I was raised in an interracial family with a white British woman and a black Native American father. And that is what I know. And so if you try to make a role for me and that character is not my mix, or at least black and white, it's hard. What would I work? What roles do I go after in Hollywood when they don't write a lot of stuff for mixed people? They're more comfortable casting mixed people in other roles and other people's roles. Like most mixed women are especially even my shade, are cast as either all black characters or Hispanic characters. And that's just the truth. It's what it is because that is what Hollywood does. So it's a mess. It is a mess. But yeah, like I said, we'll discuss all of the media. I call it mixed erasure in media in my collaboration video and the one we're doing for her channel. I think you guys will be really interested. And when we do our video, I'll link it to you. But we're doing a video on the differences between mixed identity in the UK, where she lives and is currently from, and here in the US, because there's a big difference between the two. And you guys are going to be very interested for that. So All right, couple more questions. Being a person of color screenwriter, you find your original show ideas only get your foot in the door to adapt white people's stories. That's true. And like, you're never going to argument from me. I'm telling you, I know for a fact that it happens. I know that there are Black writers that walk into that writer's room and are made to European it up because they can't accept something that ethnic or coming from that point of view, a Black person's point of view. I have beef when I see writers, again, write biracial stories. There's an episode we're going to talk about from The Bold Type where they literally wrote an entire episode on the character Kat from the Bold Type, where she identifies as biracial and how that was apparently wrong because she needs to identify as Black. And I'm like, really? I love the fact that I actually am a person or a human being that people feel the need to tell me what I am. Like, they feel it's their right to label me. They say, this is the box that we have chosen for you. We don't have to do that, but you have to do that because you have the unfortunate event or unfortunate luck of being the product of a Black person and a white person. Yeah. And all of this still relates back to Charmed. So everything I'm saying, take what I'm saying right now, and it relates back to Charmed. So it's a thing, guys. It is a thing. Magic is magic. At the end of the day, we have more in common than we had differences. Absolutely. I want to live in a world where we don't have to talk about this shit anymore. I want to live in a world where there actually is equality. Equality is not something I hear anybody talk about. I've never heard anybody in this struggle talk about we want equality. We want to not be killed by you. I've heard that. I hear people in the other camp that are scared of losing their power and identity. There is that. There's a lot of stuff that's talked about, but equality is never something I see. So it's a thing. It is a thing. All right, guys. It's 1 hour and 51 minutes. I'm tired. I'm out of water. I'm out of words. And your grandma's bedtime was 2 hours ago. So please put the comments below. If I did not answer you, please copy and paste and put it below. Like or dislike this video. How many YouTubers say that to you? Because this is how the algorithm works. If you don't have engagement at all, they act like you're not here. So like or dislike this video. If I look at my subscriber count after this video and I see that some people have unsubscribed, I am not going to hate on you. I will see that we just have a vast difference of opinion on this episode and you're in your feelings. Maybe you'll come back later. Yeah, so that's that. Theories for season 4. Also want you to put that below. Who do you want the sister to be? I know some of you want Josefina, but tell me your theories. Tell me what you think is going to happen in season 4. I really want to know because I think this is a very interesting topic because we really need to figure out how to save the show because this was a mess. Tomorrow I will be doing my Owl House review. I also, hopefully, if I can, I'm going to be able to do my review for The Kingdom, the special episode of The Kingdom that got put on Netflix today. We'll see, cross his fingers. If you love zombie movies, you're going to love the Zombie Kingdom. Is actually the zombie TV series that has 2 seasons, and now they have the special episode that they put out today. So I'm going to try and get my non-spoiler review on that. So that is coming. My Abby Mel video is 92% done. That's going on Approach to Yuri. If you are not on that channel, that's where I post my Yuri themed stuff. It is a newer channel, but it's in the description. So subscribe if you have not subscribed to that, because that is where all of my extensive L Word stuff is going to go. When L Word Generation Q season 2 starts, I will do reviews on this channel, but all of the real stuff I want to talk about is going to be on that channel. So just putting it out there. And yeah, and Katie, really quickly, technically Macy did die, and just go back and watch this stream because it will tell you what happened. All right, guys, I love you. If it is day for you, then please, 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 please have a great day. It is evening for you. Have a good night and go to sleep, and good night. And I will see you with our Owl House video tomorrow. Love you guys.